What was so exciting about a day at the Circus Maximus? This photo shows the remains of the Circus Maximus chariot racing track in Rome today. The large sandy area is located in the centre of Rome, so it is easily accessible to all the public. It held about 250,000 people of all classes. A day out at the races was a hugely important activity of the people of Rome. Races took place over a period of days, with several events every day. The reconstruction shows the Circus Maximus as it looked in Roman times. The tiers of seats were designed so that everyone got a good view without interruptions. Internal stairs and passageways enabled everyone to get to and from their seats easily. Usually an awning was provided to shelter people from the sun or the rain. In this picture, at ground level, you can see that the views would have been exceptional, adding to the excitement of being there. No one is far from the track, and the sight lines are very clear. The seats are supported on arches of brick and stone. These cover the stairways and entrances. Also there are shops and toilets underneath the seats for the comfort of the spectators. The seating areas were on both sides so that everyone could see. For example, on this side, the senators and highest class citizens sat at the front, the lowest class citizens sat at the back. However, men and women were allowed to sit together in the Circus Maximus, unlike in the Colosseum. Perhaps that added to the enjoyment of the races. Charioteers were young men from the lower classes. They were well trained and looked after, and often became very popular with the spectators. An exciting part of the day was the grand procession at the start, when the competitors rode around the course before the race began. The teams were very important, and added a great deal to the excitement of the race. There were 4 teams: the greens, the blues, the reds, and the whites. There had been attempts to introduce golds and purples as well, but these failed to generate interest. The spectators were fanatical about their teams. Although betting was technically illegal, we know that huge amounts of money exchanged hands before and after the race. This oil lamp shows a 4-horse chariot team, or quadriga, at a race. This souvenir shows how interested Romans were in chariot racing. The charioteer, or auriga, was lightly protected. Speed was essential for the excitement of the spectators, and heavy clothing would slow the chariot down. The charioteer wears a small helmet with ear flaps, light body armour made of linen, tights and light shoes, and he carries a whip to make the horses go faster. His clothing is just enough to protect him in a slight crash. However, he would need to get out of the way of an approaching horse or chariot if he is to survive. In this picture, the charioteer is approaching the corner after the long straight. His whip is raised with his right hand as he gathers the reins loosely. With his left hand he pulls on the left horses as they turn to the left around the turning posts. The horse on the inside or left side has to be the cleverest, as it has to run close to the posts and lead the others. The horse on the outside or right hand side has to run the furthest and just follows the group. The 2 horses in the middle are the ones who are actually attached to the chariot. But if the charioteer falls off, he will be dragged after the horses. You can see how he has the reins wrapped around his body. Always an exciting moment, he carries a small knife tucked into his belt, which he uses to cut the reins off and let himself free. It's time to start the race. Tension is mounting. The carceres or starting gates are ready. The sponsor of the show lets drop a handkerchief to start the race. As many as 12 chariots can start at once. The first few yards often cause a pile-up. The area around the starting gates narrows quickly as the chariots attempt to get into order. They travel anti-clockwise around the course. At the end of the first straight they need to turn round to thunder back again. Let us look closely at the spina, or barrier, along the middle of the course. In the middle of the spina, or barrier, is an obelisk captured from Egypt. This is a reminder to the audience of the power of Rome and her empire. About halfway along the spina are sets of dolphins and sets of eggs. This indicates the number of laps that are to be raced. 7 laps was normal. At the end of the spina are the turning posts, or metai. These cone-shaped posts were where the really exciting parts of the race happened. Here, a charioteer approaches the metai. He has to swing his horses as close to the metai as possible, without actually hitting them and turning his chariot over. He needs to graze the metai with his wheel. This is what the previous charioteer has done successfully. The chariot was very light in construction, and could be easily overturned or destroyed. The charioteer stood up in it and had little protection. A small mistake could spell disaster at the metai. Here we can see an accident has happened. there's a man on the track about to be run over. Finally, the long straight home to the finishing line in front of the Emperor's box. This is where a huge amount of excitement would happen, as the horses try to outdo each other to get first to the finishing line. After the races there was prize giving. A lot of money changed hands in the illegal betting that went on. However, there was also proper prize money, and lots of it, for the charioteers. In addition, the charioteer was rewarded with a wreath of laurel leaves and the palm leaf of victory. Then he went on his final procession around the chariot racing circuit.